Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan. It's time for the Derek Shelton Show. Now, the Derek Shelton Show on Sports Radio 93.7 The Fan.
It is indeed time for the Derek Shelton Show. The Pirates manager is on the Nemacolin Fan Hotline. Derek Shelton brought to you by Moosehead Beer, fiercely independent. Shelty, how are you today?
What's going on, boys? How's things?
Well, let's talk turkey here. I invited Ron on a field trip Friday, and he's gonna get back to me, Shelty. The field trip is this. The show's done at 2. I invited Ron over to the house to watch the James Harrison documentary that was on NFL Network the other night, and then we were going to come down and visit you. So I suppose we should talk a little turkey on that. Like, what are we in for here? You going to have beer for us, food, or are we just going to meet on the field? What's going to happen here?
Well, I'm not going to go. Number one, I'm not going to go beer because it's pregame. Number two, from talking to you guys last week, you get so much free food at the station.
We're eating it right now.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm thinking it's just going to be a meet and greet, you know? I mean, I'm going to get Cookie to be able to call me Shelty since he shook my hand, although he didn't say it 2 weeks ago.
As soon as I shake your hand, I'll call you that all the time.
Will we be interrupting your work day in any way?
What time do we need to be there?
You know what? I let me check with Jimmy T on what the appropriate time is, but you will not be interrupting my work day. I promise you that, because I will make time for you guys.
No food at all? Not even like a donut, cake, anything? Come on, Shelty. We'll go in the office.
Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe.
All right. Well, now we just have to get Ron to agree to it. He's come up with 19 different excuses.
That is not true.
Yes, it
is. I
said
I have to examine I'm a very busy man.
All right. Well, at the very least.
Does he work on Friday this week?
Barely.
Barely.
From 10 to 2, that's about it. So hopefully we'll meet you on Friday. In the meantime, that was a rousing victory last night. Colin Moran playing a key role. It's got to feel good in what's been a tough season to have a night like that, I would imagine.
Yeah, good night for Colin last night on both sides of the ball. I mean, made a couple good plays, especially early in the game. And then to come up with the homer and then the big RBI single later. And I think Colin's starting to see the ball better over the last week or so, and I think that's indicative by the walks. You know, people sometimes don't think, well, walks are pushing you that way, but if you're walking, that means you're not swinging at bad pitches. And, when you go through ups and downs during a year, you start to maybe get out of your zone a little bit last night, but Colin's really done a nice job as of late, kind of shrinking the zone up and getting the right pitches to hit.
Well, one of the things that has kept, Derek, our interest all season is all these young guys you're taking a look at, and I think we're all eager to see this Contreras kid pitch tonight. I have to assume he's in seventh heaven. I'm sure you've talked to him. What do you expect from him tonight?
Well, it'll be a shorter start just because of the fact that he's still working his way back, from the injury earlier in the year, and he's been on a controlled pitch count. I think it's just an opportunity for us to look at him and get our eyes on him at the major league level and get his feet wet a little bit. But, we're excited about it. This is a young kid that really has a good arm, and I think it's a credit to our PD staff and our performance group, our medical group, that, he battled through some things this year. So the excitement is, getting a chance to get eyes on him and watch him pitch. And, hopefully we get that opportunity tonight.
And for more on Contreras, like what is his sort of signature pitch? What are we going to see when he's at his best?
You're going to see a good fastball. This kid's got a really good young arm. Arm moves fast, but I think we're excited about, the ability to execute the fastball and throw it on the plate. And tonight will be a nervy night for him because of the fact that it is his major league debut. And, as you guys know, you get pumped up for those things. So we're just looking for him to go out, throw the ball on the plate tonight and get a little taste of the big leagues.
Derek, how important is it to try to finish strong in these last 5 games? We all know what's at stake with a 100-loss season. You have to go 4-1. How important is it to finish strong?
Well, it's definitely important to finish strong, and I think we've played well over the last, the last couple of weeks. We've really done a nice job of executing and, played some of our best baseball. And it's important for us to finish the year continuing to do things like we did last night, fight and come back in games. And our bullpen was really good because, guys are getting an opportunity, and we're getting an opportunity to look at them in some different roles. And that's important for us as we move into 2022.
I would imagine when you're analyzing this season, I could be wrong here, Shelty, but I would imagine at least that there were some success stories with younger guys that you would look at. Great bounce back season for Brian Reynolds. And then some that were, I don't know if I want to phrase it as a disappointment, but you didn't quite get what you expected. And I think Mitch Keller would have to lead that list. 25 years old now, so next year would be, I think he turns 26 right at the beginning of next year. How would you evaluate his season, and what does he need to work on to reach his potential?
Well, I think what he needs to work on to reach his potential is just executing pitches. And, we saw it in the two starts previous to, the start last night, but then last night just too many balls in the middle of the plate. And when you put balls in the middle of the plate at the big league level, they're going to get hit, and they're going to get hit hard. So I think the thing that we need to see moving forward is consistency. We've seen good start, not so good start, and then two good starts, two not so good starts. The main thing for Mitch moving forward is going to be consistency. I think he has grown as a pitcher this year in the way he handles himself. Earlier in the year, I thought there were some times he let innings get away from him really quickly, and since he's been back up, we've seen improvement in that area. But the thing that's going to be important for Mitch is consistency of just executing, not only the fastball but the other pitches and not leaving as many balls in the middle of the plate. Will
he get the final start of the season Sunday?
We haven't decided that yet. I mean, we're still kind of working through our rotation. As you guys know, we've lost, 4 starters in the last 3 weeks, and it's been a little challenging for us and our bullpen just in terms of filling innings. So we're working through that right now.
Do you think it would be a good thing for him to leave the season with a good taste in his mouth? Would you be leaning toward that opportunity, or doesn't that matter so much?
I think we were probably lean towards that opportunity, although we haven't had our guys on a 5-man rotation in a while. So if that is something we did explore, it would definitely be on a shorter, leash, just because of the fact we've been on a 6-man rotation with rest. And we have to, figure that out with our group as we move forward. But I would definitely prefer all of our guys leave the season with, a good taste in their mouth.
Derek, speaking of success stories, I have to think you would consider Bednar a successful story, what he has done, and has he put himself in position to be a late-inning pitcher for you next year?
Yes, he has put himself, in a position to be a late-inning guy, a leverage guy for us this year, and he pitched his way into that this year, and he is definitely a success story. I mean, this is a guy that, we traded for and traded a very good player for, and he's come in and, number one, made our club. Number two, started in non-leverage situation, has pitched himself to the back of the game, and has even pitched the 9th inning at times. And I think the reason we really feel it's a success story is development of a pitch. I mean, kid came in with, electric fastball that we see 96 to 98 and a really, really good split. And all of a sudden the curveball has become a real weapon for him. And if you watch games now, his ability to execute that to lead off hitters throughout the count with hitters, when you're talking about adding a late in a leverage guy and then development of pitch, yeah, he is definitely a success story for us.
One of your rivals here in your division, the St. Louis Cardinals, won their 17th game in a row. How would you size up that accomplishment, Shelty? And did you see this coming from the Cardinals this season? Or anything like it? Nobody sees a 17-game winning streak, but them securing a wild card spot.
Well, I think securing a wild card spot does not surprise me. They're a good club, that didn't play well at times earlier in the year, and they really hit their stride, obviously, with 17 games in a row. I think the one thing that stands out with the Cardinals is their ability to catch the baseball. If you do a good job catching the baseball, and we've done that this year too, and it's why it's kept us in games, but if you catch the baseball and don't give up extra outs, you're going to put yourself in a position to win every night. And they had some guys that are really good hitters that started off slow and have gotten hot. And when you get guys like that get hot, you can go on streaks, although no one sees 17. I mean, there's got to be some luck involved and, some good fortune. But I think the biggest thing that stands out about the Cardinals is they don't give away extra outs. And when you don't give away extra outs, you give yourself a chance to win. And then they made some adjustments in their bullpen. They put Gallegos at the back end, and he's pitched really well. And I think that's kind of sparked them.
When you're looking at other teams to model, if indeed you do, I imagine they would be one, but the one that everybody points to is Tampa Bay. And again, they're just a huge story in the league. They hardly spend any money on players. They've one of the lowest payrolls every single year, which is going to be likely you guys moving forward. Are they the model for you? Do you talk about that with the higher ups about how you want to be Tampa Bay?
I don't know if we want to be anybody but the Pirates, but I have the fortune of knowing their model pretty well, having worked there for 7 years. I think the model that we would take off them is they develop players very well. And that allows them to continue to bring guys up regardless of injury or whatever else case happens, trades. We have to model that portion. We've talked weekly on this show about development being the lifeblood of our organization. And I think that speaks to the fact that our Bradenton and Greensboro club played in the finals this year. That's important. That's guys that we have drafted, we have developed, we have signed in Latin America. And that's what the Rays do. You watch that they bring in homegrown guys. They develop them. They come to the big leagues, and they're extremely effective. And then they make wise moves on, smaller piece trades or smaller piece signings. So in that regard, yes, we should model ourselves off teams that have success in development and how they do it. And then also they're very smart. The way that they apply analytics or numbers to the games between their front office and their coaching staff is at an elite level, and it's something that we are working for with our group here to make sure that we're getting the right information and utilizing it properly.
All right, Derek, this is the last time we talk to you before the season ends and the playoffs start next week. Who's the teams to beat? The team to beat in the National League and the American League?
The teams to beat in the American League and National League. Honestly, I think we're going to see. I think we're going to see a repeat of the World Series last year. I really do. I think, the Giants have played all year long, and they're, 103 wins. I just have a hard time seeing with the Dodgers pitching how they're not a team, and especially in short series, being that good. And then the Rays have just proved that they're the elite team, and in the American League, the teams in the other teams in the East are playing well right now. They're beating up on each other. I think the fact the Rays are going to have the ability to set what they're going to do going into the playoffs. So my picks would be those two teams.
How about that wild card, though, in the National League? The Cardinals rolling against the Dodgers. What a game that will be, won't it?
It's going to be a good series. We're seeing something.
Series or game? Just one game, right?
Oh, well, you're talking about the Dodger-Cardinal game.
Yes.
Yeah, it's going to be an unbelievable game. I think the one thing that stands out is the Dodgers pitching. They got Scherzer, who's having the year he's having. Buehler, I think, is 14-4. I saw yesterday, and Urias is 19-3. That's depending on how Dave decides to deploy those guys. That's going to be really challenging to get past. But the one beautiful thing about baseball is one-game playoffs or one-game series. It's no holds barred, and you never know what's going to happen.
Lastly, Shelty, and most importantly, during the break, Ron was looking at some old Montreal Expos jerseys. I think he may feel those are the greatest jerseys in baseball of all time. Outside of the Pirates, who has the best baseball jersey in the history of the sport?
Ooh, outside of the Pirates, best baseball jersey.
Hey, Derek, I'm looking at these Montreal uniforms. They're unbelievable.
How about the Dodgers?
The Dodgers blue, too.
It's just classic. How about the old Astros with Enos Cabell and
now
people like that.
We can go pinstripes, right? Is there anything more iconic in sports than the Yankee pinstripes?
I know. I just hate them so much.
All right, you
I
asked a
can't go
question.
there.
We've answered it. Let's let him answer it, huh?
I'm giving him time to think, Ron.
Yeah, you gave me time to think. You know, the one I think is classic and timeless, and I don't know if it's my favorite, but it's really good, and is the one that Cookie's best friend Jimmy Leland used to wear in Detroit. The Old English D with that piping. That's a sick looking jersey. I like that jersey a lot.
Wow. How about Enos Cabell? You remember him, third baseman for the
Yeah.
Astros?
That's a good call. I can honestly tell you that my high school team wore those old Astro jerseys. We wore, but different color scheme, but we wore those jerseys. So that's a sick. I mean, that's a sick jersey. The question I would ask you guys is, do you like the baby blues that are back?
Oh yeah. Do I like the baby blues? Everywhere.
Yeah.
Ron, you like them?
Sure, I do. I can't. I'm just looking at this Expo. They have Dawson, Carter, and Raines. Bats on their shoulders with those Expo jerseys.
I love that.
It's unbelievable.
He's not a big jersey guy, Shelty. Like Ron would never wear a jersey. He doesn't like the fact that adults wear jerseys to games. If we took you to like a football game, would you wear a Bears jersey and things like that, even as an adult?
No, I would not. I'm
Thank
with you.
you.
I'm not a big adult. Yeah. So I will tell you this. I want you guys to pay attention to this because this is a thing that's interesting to me. It's interesting to me, like, say there's Cub Pirates game tonight, that there's a random dude that shows up in, like, a Cubs jersey or like a Cardinals jersey.
Yeah.
Or, a Brewers jersey. It always amazes me that people show up with just random jerseys that have nothing to do with the two teams that are playing. That's always intrigued me of why that happens.
I like that, and I should, before we part, tell you the story of Horse. He's a big Broncos fan. He is an adult who wears jerseys. He wore one into Buffalo and got spit on at a Bills game. So you may want to talk to Horse about that before you guys say goodbye.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, hey, I want to ask you guys a question since you give me these all the time. Favorite Montreal Expo player for you two?
Oh,
Wow,
Legrand
is that a good
Orange,
one?
Rusty Staub.
Rusty Staub?
I liked him. John Buccabella.
What a call by Ron there. For me, it's got to be Ellie Valentine, right? In right field with that arm. How about you?
For me, okay, it's going to be, and I'm going to give you a weird one, and it's Tom Foley because I worked with him in Tampa for 6 years. Wonderful human being. So I'm going to go with Tom Foley.
See, you're playing the card. If we're going to do that, I'm going to...
Wait, is it Tim Foley or Tom Foley?
Tom. Not
Tom?
Not
I don't
Tim.
know Tom Foley.
He's playing the he knows you card. And I'd say Terry Francona played for the Expos, one of my all-time favorite people in baseball.
Well, I don't know any former Expos.
But if I don't do that, I'm looking at one of the three here. Andre Dawson, the Hawk, could do anything on the baseball field.
Yeah, he could.
How about
He was
Warren
amazing.
Cromartie, Shelty? Let's talk about
Ooh,
underrated
good call.
players now that we're on Enos
Good call.
Cabell and Warren Cromartie.
One of my favorite-
UL Washington with the toothpick.
One of my favorite nicknames on the Expos was Cool Breeze. Rodney Scott. I'd always used to think a Rodney Scott is blowing through Three Rivers Stadium.
How about George Scott? Remember him for the Brewers and Red
Yeah.
Sox? He was a legend.
George. So I'll go, if you want to go underrated Expos, Steve Rogers. Remember Steve Rogers,
Oh,
the
yeah.
pitcher?
Great pitch.
Hell of a mustache, as I recall.
Yeah, good mustache. Still has a good mustache. Works for the Players Association. I see him every spring training.
We got a guy here, Michael Garr, who had the you-know-whats to grow a mustache, Shelty. He's the only guy
Really?
in the building with a mustache. Do you appreciate that in a man these days, someone who just has a mustache, or do you think it's kind of odd?
No, I love that. I love going with it. John Baker, who runs our minor leagues, he goes just mustache. And I love that. It's confidence.
It's a big move, isn't it? Telling the world I'm a mustache guy only?
Love it. I love it.
Thank you, Shelty.
All right, guys. Have a good week.
We'll see you Friday. Forget about having a good week. We have a date.
Oh, I look for Friday. Yeah, get Cookie out there.
All right. We'll see you. Derek Shelton. Ron, you're under pressure now.
Yeah, imposed by you.
Yes, of course. I'm the guy throwing the party. In your honor.
I'm just worried about Bailey maybe biting me or something.
Bailey, no.
I'm teasing.
He
I'm
loves
not afraid
people.
of dogs. I'm not afraid of dogs.
All right.
I'm afraid of people. I like dogs better than people.
Ben might these days, too, with the way that everybody is ripping him right now. And he's earned some of it. Let's be honest. He spoke this morning. Let's hear Ben in its entirety. Coming up next.